My friends, the Tehran clock has just stopped. What happened is not just a troop movement, it's the anatomy of a checkmate that's being set up in absolute silence while the world gets lost in the noise of social media. While you watch this video, the air in the Middle East is filled with the smell of jet fuel and the sound of turbines that never stop spinning. Now subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like because it takes a lot of work to bring this to you. Let's go. At the bases of the United States Central Command CENTCOM, the A-10 Thunderbolt II and the legendary Warthogs are not just on display. They are on the ramp with engines running, weapons loaded, and taking off right now. Central Command has just released images that are anything but subtle. They are a warning that Washington's strategic patience is running out. But why would the Pentagon respond to a nuclear threat with a 50-year-old aircraft? The answer to this question will completely change your view of how power is exercised on the real battlefield. The United States is not treating this as a conventional war. They are treating it as the dismantling of an international criminal organization that has been disguising itself as a state for almost half a century. And to clear the deck of a mafia, you don't just use million-dollar hypersonic missiles. You also use the 30mm cannon that never misses. Now, pay attention. In the last 24 hours, the Iranian regime has raised its rhetoric to the highest level. General Stalemate of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps made an official statement saying that Washington faces an impossible choice: either an unfeasible military operation or accept a terrible deal. They are trying to sell the idea that the United States is cornered, but notice the contradiction. While Tehran shouts, the Pentagon responds with the silence of engines turning. The general declared that the United States has no way out, but the truth is that he has no more tricks up his sleeve. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Zaraki warned that American pressure would only strengthen deterrence.
Nação do país. É a narrativa clássica de resistência para consumo interno. Só que eles ainda não processaram o que significa os canhões de 30mm do A-10 girando no pátio. Os canais oficiais da Guarda Revolucionária dizem que o cessar-fogo é frágil e que estão preparados para qualquer cenário. Mas vamos ser realistas.
They don't have an air force, they don't have a real navy, and their surface-to-air missiles are museum pieces. Being prepared without tools is just an invitation to disaster. What the Pentagon is doing now is translating that into impact in real time. They're showing that the mullah's megaphone was the worst investment they could have made. While Iran spends energy manipulating public opinion and trying to look like a power, the United States is increasing its arsenal. The A-10 that never needs to consult the weatherman to know when the storm is coming. CENTCOM is releasing very specific footage. Who knows that the A-10 was designed with a single mission: to destroy armored vehicles and survive in high-risk environments. This aircraft is the flying tank which ignores rhetoric and focuses on the physical destruction of assets. And if you think the problem is what the general says, wait until you see what we found out about what's happening behind the scenes of the negotiations that Trump just blew up. This is where the game gets more serious. The Supreme National Security Council of Iran issued a statement saying that war is likely if the United States does not soften its negotiating stance. They doubled down on their demands to control the Strait of Hormuz and categorically rejected nuclear dismantlement. For them, the nuclear program is non-negotiable and cannot be dismantled. But President Trump heard all of this and gave the kind of response only he can. In an interview, Trump was clear. Frankly, maybe it's better if we don't make any deal at all. Trump went further and revealed that Iran sent a peace proposal through Pakistan. A 14-point plan structured in 3 phases that reveals the extent of the Ayatollah's desperation. In the first phase, they offer the complete opening of the Strait of Hormuz in exchange for the lifting of the naval blockade. In the second phase, they ask for the release of frozen assets and economic aid. And in the third phase, the most bizarre proposal, the construction of 19 new nuclear reactors on Iranian soil. But with the active participation and management of the United States, they are trying to buy their own survival by offering control over what they always said was sacred. Trump studied the plan and completely rejected it. He said the following: "We considered Iran's proposal and it's not good for us. And I studied it, I studied everything. It's not acceptable to me. It's simply not acceptable," he said. By appointing Nick Stewart, a negotiator known for his relentless stance, Trump made it clear that he's not seeking a compromise, but rather a surrender agreement. He doesn't want a deal of convenience, he wants total submission to American demands. Accepting the Iranian proposal now would be rewarding 47 years of regional aggression and crimes against the world. Time is on Washington's side. Each day of naval blockade is one less day of life for the regime's economy. And the clock of Tehran's desperation is ticking faster than European diplomacy can keep up. Trump is telling the American public that he will not repeat the mistakes of the past, like those of the Barack Obama administration. The message to Beijing and Moscow is clear. The United States is determined to finish the campaign in the Middle East on its own terms. Here's the key detail. Iran is focused on the immediate removal of sanctions without offering any real concessions. They want the money first and only then to discuss the nuclear program. Who falls for that? Trump realized that this is a trap. The naval blockade is shutting down Iranian ports and causing real cracks within the regime itself. When Iran abandons hardline rhetoric and tries to negotiate, the Security Command just shows the A-10 on the ramp. It's a matchup where the American armed forces always win without having to say a word. Iran stated that it will open the gates of hell. But with the A-10 pointed at them, the Ayatollahs are just describing the very doorway to their own collapse. This is where money speaks louder than bombs. There is a technical concept called Brent oil arbitrage. London makes billions of dollars just from the price fluctuations caused by the tension in the Strait of Hormuz. Here's how it works. Tension rises, geopolitical risk increases, and the price per barrel fluctuates wildly. European financial institutions that control oil futures contracts operate in this volatility. They buy and sell fear. For London, controlled chaos is the best business in the world. They save a few euros per barrel on the contracts and put that difference in their pockets, which amounts to trillions of dollars over decades. Europe didn't want to get involved in the conflict at all because the profit lies in keeping the oil flowing under threat. If the Strait of Hormuz becomes peaceful and stable, the volatility ends and the profit margin from European arbitrage disappears. Do you see the play? It's an institutionalized global bribe. London is basically telling the world we don't care if the regime is radical or has nuclear weapons, as long as the payouts keep rolling into our coffers. Trump is kicking over this table of bribes by imposing a real blockade and seeking the definitive dismantling of the regime. He's destroying the source of profit for the European financial elite. That's why you see this fierce diplomatic resistance coming from London and Paris. They don't want peace, they want the volatility that fills their coffers. England has the ability to influence the cost of barrels passing through the strait through insurance and contracts. They have a hidden agenda to ensure that dialogue remains open, regardless of how dangerous the Iranian regime is. It's a short-sighted mentality that bets Europe's economic suffering will eventually force the United States to give in. Iran knows this and tries to play the victim to form a coalition and pressure Washington. But Trump has already shown that he doesn't follow the globalist script. He's breaking the financial backbone that supports both the Ayatollahs and their hidden partners in Europe. And if you think the problem was just the nuclear program, wait until you see how this dispute over trillions of dollars is fragmenting Western alliances. But we can't fall into the trap of thinking the war is already won. A cornered animal is the most dangerous. Iran, without conventional forces, will bet everything on asymmetric tactics. We're talking about swarms of Shahed drones, fast suicide boats, and manpads, portable missiles that can be a nightmare for low-flying aircraft. And the A-10 Thunderbolt 2 is a tank, but it flies low and slow. Every sortie over Hormuz is a real risk to life. The regime is fractured from within. There are several factions in constant conflict: the class of Ayatollahs, the mullahs, and the Revolutionary Guard. They are fighting among themselves for control of what's left in the country. The Revolutionary Guard, specifically the units near the Strait of Hormuz, feel that they hold the real power because they control the world's bottleneck. Paranoia in Tehran has reached terminal levels. Reports indicate that the regime is killing thousands of people internally. Anyone who makes one wrong move risks being hanged for treason. They use proxy tactics because they know their military front has been decimated. The focus now is to dismantle this criminal organization, but that victory may come at an extremely high cost. A misinterpreted order by a desperate faction of the Revolutionary Guard that feels it is about to lose real power could set the entire region on fire. They threaten to open the gates of hell as a manipulation strategy. They try to get the deal they want while developing ballistic missiles behind the scenes. Look at the level of vulnerability. The Revolutionary Guard's speedboats are built light for speed, which makes them completely unprotected. They rely on swarms to try to overwhelm American defenses, but the A-10 has something to say about that. It can stay over the target for extended periods, whether at low or high altitudes, and hit the mine-laying ships in real time, and that's the worst nightmare for anyone relying on naval guerrilla tactics. The Iranian regime is playing its last cards, trying to make the United States back down through fear. But that tactic didn't work last time, and with the Warthog's arsenal in place, Tehran's chances of success are minimal. Now let's get to the facts, because this is where rhetoric dies and physics takes over. The A-10 is not just a plane, it's a tool for wild cleanup. It was built around the Jiayu-8 Avenger, a hydraulically powered 7-barrel rotary cannon that fires 30mm depleted uranium rounds. We're talking about 3,900 rounds per minute. In just a 1-second burst, the A-10 spits out 65 rounds. A fast boat from the Revolutionary Guard, which is typically between 10 and 40 meters long, is disintegrated in just 1 minute. It's not just hit. It ceases to exist as a physical structure. The depleted uranium ignores the fiberglass and light metal of the Iranian vessels. The A-10 has the ability to loiter. It can keep orbiting over the target for hours, waiting for the exact moment when the Iranians try to launch their devices in the strait. It carries the APKWS rocket system for surgical precision against small vessels and Maverick missiles for hardened targets. But what really defines this machine? Its resilience. The pilot is protected in a titanium bathtub capable of withstanding 23mm rounds and even RPGs. We've already seen this aircraft return to base with half a wing missing and the engine destroyed. There was a real case of rescuing a downed officer in Iran, where the A-10 provided air support in dense vegetation, took several hits, and managed to make it back home. Its wings have structural self-regeneration capability. It's a flying tank that ignores pain. This multifunctional tool is the Leatherman of fighter jets. Besides the cannon, it carries precision-guided bombs and advanced sensors that allow it to identify targets in the water with impressive clarity. Iran trembles just thinking about how this machine can destroy its fast attack boats. And when the Security Command releases specific images of air talk, the message is deliberate. The United States has the most heavily armed aircraft. It's about destroying drones and attacking boats that exist on the planet. The Ayatollah's megaphone has no answer for depleted uranium. The math of the massacre is simple: 65 rounds per second against fiberglass hulls. The result is inevitable. So my friends, what we have today is a final showdown between bluff and reality. On one side, the hysterical scream from the gates of hell. On the other, the deadly silence of the 30mm cannon. The Iranian regime is facing an abyss it has dug for itself over the course of 47 years. They tried to use Europe as a shield, tried to hold the Strait of Hormuz hostage, and tried to use the nuclear program as a bargaining chip. All the pieces have been knocked down. The naval blockade is suffocating what's left of the economy, and the internal cracks in the regime are turning into craters. The paranoia and power struggle between the factions show that the end is near. The question I leave for you is, should Trump authorize the final sweep in Hormuz and end this cycle once and for all? Or should he give one more chance to a diplomacy that has never delivered anything but time for the regime to arm itself? Comment below, because your perception is what really matters in this debate. My friends, what happens in Hormuz doesn't stay in Hormuz. This knocks on your door, affects your cost of living and the security of what you've built. Understanding this game is the only way not to be caught off guard by the system's next move. And that's why more than 3,000 subscribers already support our exclusive map here, where I reveal what censorship tries to hide so you can understand how these wars impact your real life. The QR code is on the screen and the link is in the pinned comment and description. Come and check out our home, our intel bunker, where no one can take down our platform.
uma canetada. Aqui, nós não
Take care and
podemos citar certos termos e nem mostrar determinadas imagens reais do que acontece. Então, te espero lá. E para quem busca entretenimento que respeita seus valores, nós criamos um canal de séries e filmes, sem cultura woke, sem mimimi. Apenas histórias para você curtir com a sua família e resgatar o que realmente importa. Então, link na descrição, no card e no primeiro comentário fixado lá.
with a list of several movies and series about the war in the Middle East. Now, right at this moment, cool series about Mossad, the CIA, the Iranian regime, all carefully curated so you can follow along with us. Now, shield your mind. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell, and leave a like on the video. I'm Shimon Oliveira, and I'll see you in the next video and in the next report about what's happening in the world. See you then.